Okay, guys, I'm just so excited to have my friend Darnelle Parker with me today. I'm Emily Kady. Darnelle and I were just having this conversation and felt like we just needed to record this conversation and bring it to the YouTube platform. There's just so much, I don't know what the right word is, Darnelle. I don't know. There's just a lot of stress and angst out there, is what keeps coming to mind.
Yeah. I know like a lot of people are constantly being impacted right now with a lot of job losses and whether it's through, the most recent layoffs or through the government or even through, continual layoffs with corporate America, everybody's being impacted by this. And so it's really challenging for people where they feel like they have a good, foundation in their life and then, taken away from them. So these experiences can be very tragic for people.
Yeah, and Darnell and I both have been laid off. We know how
Yes.
scary and traumatizing this is,
Yes.
and where you lose a sense of your purpose and your identity. And so this is a conversation that we were just having, and
Yep.
we just felt it was really important to bring this to you because we know
Yeah.
other people are here. So Darnell, you were starting to share with me a little bit about how when you lost your job and then you felt like you needed to go back and find one and what was happening to you physically. And I would love for you to share that story here because
Yeah, thank you, Emily, for asking me that. I've been working in corporate America for over 25 plus years in technology sales and for really great, what you would say, top tier companies. And I was at a point in my career where, things were going really well and there was some shifting that was happening. And in 2023, I was actually one of the ones that was impacted on job elimination. And, the thought initially was very shocking and it felt like shocking in my body, very traumatic. And I, was just struggling mentally, struggling physically, and just could not figure out like what my next move would be. And so ideally, traditionally what I would do and what most people want to do is look for another job instantly, right? And so, that was what I decided to do. I said, well, let me, start looking for another job. And what I didn't realize is that I didn't give my body enough time to process the trauma that had just taken place, right?
wow.
So,
Okay, wait. Say that again because I really want people to hear what you just said because this is so important and so powerful.
yeah. So I really did not allow my body to process the trauma that had just taken place by losing the job, right? Just
Fascinating.
automatically.
Like, we don't realize how our bodies take on this trauma. We
Yes.
don't well, like, we just feel like we're going to survival mode, right?
Yes, exactly. Because you're like, oh my God, like what's happening next? Like, of course, the next phase would be to file for unemployment, and then you're thinking about, well, will that sustain me financially? Based on the salary I was making in my job, and I know that that would not cover my expenses, and so I was like, I need to look for another job, but my body was rejecting every time I would start to look for another job. It was like, no, this is a traumatic experience and we
So
need to prove this.
what was your body actually doing?
I was feeling like really anxious and then like my stomach would just like feel like knots was in my stomach and then I would just really in my chest, my heart would start beating fast and I was like every time I would step away I would feel better, but then when I would think about coming back, then the symptoms started to resurface.
So how did you get out of it and find peace with where you're at?
Yeah, I decided like to really to lean into my tools and my resources that I've learned over the years. I'm really big into meditation and breath work, and I just decided to give myself grace while my body was processing. I still did the things that you would typically do when you would, lose your job. I filed for unemployment. I did those things. I looked at my finances and my expenses, but I just really started to focus on really what would help me feel good in my space, in my body, give myself grace, which was really big for me. Like I had to accept number one what was taking place and
Yes.
honor,
So
right?
hard to accept it, right?
Yes,
Like,
and
I don't
honor
know about
what I was feeling. Yeah, go ahead.
yes, I love that. Honor what you're feeling. I don't know about you, but for me, when I was laid off, I just remember feeling so ashamed and so embarrassed.
Yes.
Like,
Like
I'm a failure.
like I 1000% resonate with that because I don't know, like in my mind I was like I didn't want people that weren't close to me to know that this had transpired. There's just like full transparency, right? Like I'm a very private person just normally, and it was a shock to just my ego. It was a shock to, the person I've always thought I was, like being identified by my role in corporate and my status and things of that nature. And like for a long time, like I would not leave the house between work hours
Oh,
because I did not want people to think like how is, because I work from home, right?
right.
So I would just not schedule things, just total transparency. I would not schedule things during work hours because I did not want people to think that, like, wow, why is she not working, right? And so I had to work through all of that mental trauma, right? And to say, like, I'm creating a new version of myself. I have to reset this new person that I'm becoming so that I can just really fully embrace my next chapter.
And there's a lot to what you're saying here, and this embrace this new person that you're becoming. Because I know for me, when I lost my job, the corporate pressures, it's an unrealistic expectation that they put on us, right?
Yes,
To perform at a level that is just really tough for our entire nervous system.
yes, agree.
I always call it overdrive, just like in constant overdrive, there's no
Yes,
rest. And so I'm bringing this point in because you're talking about, like, you have to reset everything. You
yes,
have to, like, literally, not only your mind, like in your ego, your nervous system. And
yes,
you're saying at the very beginning, which I found super fascinating, that your body would not let you go back to work. Your
exactly.
body needed to rest.
Yeah,
And how do
because
you honor that? It's so scary when it's like, you gotta pay your bills.
yes,
We have to make money to stay.
and it's like crazy because it's like you want to do what you think is the next best thing, right? Is to go back to what you're familiar with. But
Right?
then your body is telling you something totally different. It's like it was rejecting the fact that I was trying to go back to an old version of me versus now stepping into creating a new version of me.
Mm.
And to get comfortable with that is that I had to just really honor what she was saying. When I say she, meaning my body, I had to listen to her and have a real conversation and say, like, how do I support you in this journey? Because I know it doesn't feel safe, but how do I support you so that we can move forward in a direction that will make us feel safe, right?
Mm.
So allowing her to speak through me, to tell me what was really happening, and then creating spaces and opportunities for her to heal.
So can you give like one example? I'm just super curious. Like, what was one thing that your body needed to feel safe so that you could heal?
Yeah, so I'm really big on numbers, right? Like,
Mm.
so being financially free and feeling secure was really important to me. So the first thing I had to do, which my body was like saying, survival, like how are we going to survive? I had to look at my finances, right? So I went to, my bank accounts, I went to my credit card statements, and I pulled up the entire summary for each year. I think it was the last 2 years I looked at, and I said, where are areas within my spending I can reduce, right? So how do I make sure I have enough money to take care of my essentials, but then how do I pull back on those things that I was just doing, like shopping and taking, extra vacations just to soothe myself from feeling so stressed being in corporate, right? I
Mm.
was, shopping was my addiction, I would say, right, is to soothe myself. And so now that I no longer needed that soothing from feeling like I need to reset myself from the corporate piece, I was able to identify areas where I can eliminate expenses, which gave me comfort to know that the finances that I did have would take care of my essentials,
Mm.
right? Then I didn't feel like scarcity because I knew I could cover my expenses but not be as lavish as I was previously,
I
right?
love that. I did the same thing. I pulled out an Excel spreadsheet and I just put in like what is the minimum I need to make each
Yes.
month to survive,
Yeah,
to make
exactly.
sure, and how much savings do I have to make sure I can cover
Yes.
it in case, like,
Exactly.
what's my runway? So I want to share something about, you said something, I'm not remembering exactly how you said it, but it was about like allowing your body to have that reset. Oh, you said going back to what you knew.
Yes.
But
Yes.
accepting that this is a new chapter of your life. That chapter closed for a reason. There's a new
Yes.
opening here. And resisting it is just keeping us from actually stepping into this new chapter, right?
Correct.
And so I want to share, I had two seven-figure businesses. And this is back in like 2010, I started these businesses and I ran them through 2016. In 2015, I had a near-death experience. Came out of that
Wow.
NDE and was not the same person that I was prior.
Of
And
course.
within a year, I closed my businesses. I left my marriage. Like I shifted and changed dramatically. But what
Mhm.
happened was I left I closed the businesses, but I still needed to make money. So what did I do? I went and got a job for a company doing what I had done in my businesses. And I got laid off because I wasn't in alignment with who I was.
Right. This new version of you, right? This new
Yes,
normal. Yeah, exactly.
exactly. But I didn't take the time to do what you have been doing over the last few years of
Mhm.
really just allowing yourself to accept this is who you are. This is your new reality.
Right.
I resisted it. And
Mhm.
then I had to go through great humiliation and be laid off. Like
Yes.
literally, I mean, I could go into that story. It was,
Right.
but I didn't listen to my intuition.
Yeah.
I didn't do what you're doing.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
it's so important for people to just trust that God is in the pause, whether it's
Yes.
God's, whoever, universe, whoever. That is where the most magical stuff happens if we allow ourselves to pause.
Exactly. Exactly. Because our body is constantly giving us signals, right? Like it's normally like a little whisper, right? And then, something else happens and then it's like a regular conversation. And then when we don't listen, then things like this happen, right? Where we lose our job, right? It's like our body is trying to tell us along the way, like, hey, it's time to step into something different, whatever that different is for you, but it's time to pivot from where you are and to move in a direction where you're being led to go so that you can really feel live a fulfilled life and live a life on purpose, right? And
Mhm.
so when we ignore that, then our body will reject where we are. And so sometimes we will give out signals even though we feel like we're doing what we should be doing, but our body is giving out signals to the universe to say that I no longer should be in this space, but the mind part won't allow me to separate from that piece, right? So, yeah, I definitely believe it's all connected, right? Like our body is connected
Right.
to the divine, to God, whatever your belief systems are. And we come here to do a certain thing. And sometimes it could be two certain or three certain things. But it's important that we listen to that small voice and allow it to lead us to our next best thing.
Yes, yes, yes. I agree 110%. And trusting that voice. I think that, I know a lot of my clients, I'm sure a lot of your clients come to you too and are just
Hmm.
like, how do I even hear that voice?
Right.
And
Yes.
how do I trust it once I hear it?
Yes.
And
Yes.
it's a process. It doesn't just happen overnight.
Correct. Yes. And
We
I think that it's important to like for myself and like I'm sure and you shared as well, like listening to the part where you feel like, okay, I have to take care of myself, right? Like the fundamentals and the basics. Like once we
Yeah, you feel more
figure that part
secure.
out,
Yes.
right? Once we
Then
feel secure, then we can move in the other directions on giving ourselves space and time to feel like what's the next best step in our journey, right? Like once we have, I think it's Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It's like once we know that we're secure at a basic level, then we can move to the next level to do the thing that we want to do to help ourselves move to that next level.
we could go on and on and on, and
Yeah.
I really hope that we can continue this conversation,
Yes.
like, weekly just to really support each other here.
Mhm.
It's in our communities as we're navigating these terrains that we've never treaded through or
Yes.
tread through.
Yes.
It's like
Exactly.
all of us are in new terrain right now, whether you've lost a job or there's just a lot of uncertainty.
Yes.
Things are
Yes.
shifting and changing, and what we're talking about today may be specific for losing a job, but it can
Hmm.
be implemented in every area of our lives.
Correct. Yeah.
So I'm curious, like, as we wrap up, what would do you think is like, just as we reiterate our conversation here, what do you feel
Mhm.
like is like the biggest takeaway for somebody that's listening and is really facing like this devastating loss of a job
Yeah.
right
Yeah. Thank you for asking that. The thing is that first of all, I want you to know that you're not alone in this journey, right? And that there are opportunities to be supported. There are communities, tap into resources that can help you navigate, whether it's through, mental health resources or whatever it is that you feel like you need to really feel whole or even to just feel supported. Tap into those resources because you are not alone, even though you might feel like you're alone while you're going through it, but create or find a community that can help support you, number one. And then number two, I think it's really important is to just take time or moments throughout your day, whether it's just 5 minutes a day, and honor the space that you're in and allowing yourself to feel the emotions of what you're going through, right? Thank you for allowing me to share and to feel safe in this moment. And then think about like what you can be grateful for in your day, because even though you're going through something that feels traumatic, there's always opportunity to find the small things in your life that you can be grateful for, which will raise your energy and make you feel good.
That was what I was gonna say, just being gratitude. Like, literally, when I find myself in a stressed out situation or worried about something, I
Yes.
my guides always tell me, "Just open your hands and just say, 'Thank you
Thank you.
for
Yeah.
the abundance. Thank you for the
Yes.
security. Thank you for the new job. Thank you for what the new opportunity
Yes.
that is in alignment for my highest purpose right now.'"
Yes,
Eh,
exactly. Because
yes,
ultimately, that's what most people want. It's like, why am I here? What's my purpose? What should I be doing?
yes.
Right? How do I
Uh-huh.
align my dreams to, maybe being of service and to doing something to help impact other lives in a positive way? And so you got to just allow yourself to be a part of the journey.
That is so key. I love that because it's true. I've always been like, I got to get to the end result.
Yes,
No, it's not
right.
about the end result. We need to allow ourselves to just be part of the journey. And when you do, doors open.
Yes,
Things
ex-
so it's you're
yes,
stopping that resistance when we're in that state of worry or frustration or anger or whatever. Honor that feeling
yes,
and allow yourself to start to move up so that knowing, okay, something else is going to open up. But if you
yes,
stay in that feeling of anger, frustration, worry, whatever it may be, you keep that loop going in your head of stress and worry, you're resisting, you're only pushing it away.
yes, exactly.
I just love this conversation. Darnell,
Yes,
I just want to, if anyone is interested in booking an appointment with Darnell, I'm telling you what, this woman is a powerhouse. She and I both have, we've gone to a retreat together. We're in this light language activation certification course together. And she shifts energy like no one's business. I love we have similar paths, but different.
yes,
Love it.
exactly.
And it's so
Yes,
much fun to work with you.
yes.
I absolutely love it. So,
Oh, and
yes,
you're amazing. Yes.
thank
So
you.
if anyone out there same for
Yeah,
Emily, she's absolutely amazing where she helps
thank
you
you.
heal from trauma. And I know we didn't talk about a lot of the trauma that we've both been through, and those will
Oh, we
probably be
will.
coming,
Well,
yeah, in
yeah,
future
well,
episodes. But like Emily is amazing with helping with trauma. So yeah,
thank
and other things as well. But she can really shift the energy inside of your body and heal your life like immensely.
I love you. Yes, no, yes, ancestral trauma, go to Darnell. So we'll shift and change and you will be opened up. You know, we both have some really beautiful and powerful gifts, and we both know we're
Yes.
here to help people understand why they're here so they can fully step
Mhm.
into their purpose and their potential with clarity and confidence.
Yeah.
And so that
Yeah.
when you are in the middle of this worry and stress and scary times, we get it. We've been there, not alone, and there is definitely a way out.
Yes. Absolutely. And we're here to help to support you. So we're grateful for the opportunity today to be a part of your time, and we want to thank you for that.
Absolutely. So Darnell's and my links will be in the description below. So if you resonate with one of us, please reach out, book an appointment with either of us, and we're really happy to help you.
Yeah.
Bye for now.
Awesome.
We'll be back
Yes.
next week. Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. I love it.
Have a great
Maybe,
rest of your day.
maybe we'll do this live eventually and we can do some readings live. That would be
That
so
would be
fun.
amazing.
I love
Yes.
it. Okay. Thank you.
Awesome.